Tina Zink Serene Stamper, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up in Nova Scotia, Canada, with another card to share with you today. This is the card. And this card was made using the By the Bay stamp set. This stamp set is a Sale-a-bration stamp set in our 2019 Stampin' Up Sale-a-bration catalog, and you can get this set for free, which means you can't purchase it. You can get it free though with a qualifying order, and it's a really beautiful stamp set, and the card is actually quite easy to make. So let's get stamping. So here are the pieces that I used to make this card. This piece measures 1.5 by 4 3/4. This Knight of Navy is 4 3/4 by 1 3/4. For white is 4 3/4 by 3.5. Cherry Cobbler that measures 3 3/4 by 5. Knight of Navy, which is 4 by 5 1/4. And this Smoky Slate measures 8.5 by 5.5. So when it's folded, it measures 4 1/4 by 5.5, which is your standard card size. So for this card, I used the Stamparatus. So I'm just going to line up my Whisper White to the second notch up at the top. And then this piece I'm going to line up to the third notch. I'll put my magnet down so you can see what I'm talking about. So I've got this lined up with this one, and this one is lined up here. Then I'm just taking my house image and placing it right in the center on top of the two pieces. Close my lid. And then I'm going to ink this up with black Memento. You could use your black StazOn if you want. I'm just going to use the Memento. And I'm going to ink this up twice just to get it good and dark. So there's the first one. And the second one. So there's a little bit of a gap between the two just because of the extra layer of cardstock. That's absolutely fine. You don't want to worry about that because we're going to mat this anyhow. Now I'm using High Tide because I want to use these birds, and if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know I use these birds quite often. And same thing, I'm just going to position them over the two pieces. Something I want to mention is this By the Bay stamp set is one of our new cling stamp sets, and these cling stamps are amazing. They do not fall off your clear blocks at all, but they do really stick to the container. Can you see how much that sticks? So here's a little trick for you. I'm going to use our Take a Pick tool, and I'm using this flat edged piece. Can you see the piece I'm using? So what I'm going to do is just put this underneath the corner just a little bit and just gently lift it off. So this is a great tool to have because otherwise you could be yanking at these and tearing your stamps, which you don't want to do. And you definitely want to go at the corner. You don't want to be pulling from the center. But if you have this tool, you're going to love using this with these stamps. And if you don't have this tool, you're going to want it. There's tons of other bits and pieces to this. It's a great tool. I'm going to use May All Your Paths Lead to Happiness down on the bottom. And this has gone a little bit crooked, so I'm just going to line that up again. And that just fits. Okay, so I'm inking that up with my black Memento. Okay, so now I'm going to move my Stamparatus, and now it's time to do some coloring. I am only going to be coloring on this strip, not this piece. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've already stamped this on a post-it note and cut it out, and I'm just going to position this mask right on top. Then I have another post-it note, and I want to create the look of the ocean. So I'm just going to put this like that. So it's just going to be a tiny little square. In fact, I'm going to use my grid sheet here to line it up. Make sure it's straight. So now I'm taking my Night of Navy. I'm using a lot of colors here, and I'm just using the different sides of a sponge. So I'm just dabbing that in the Night of Navy. And that's going to be the ocean. Now I'm going to peel that off and cover that up. And now I'm going to create my sunset. I'm starting with So Saffron. I'm just dabbing this on. And this doesn't have to be perfect because when you start blending in your colors, it's going to look fantastic. Now I have my Calypso Coral. Dab a little bit on top of that. And you want the two colors to kind of blend in together. I'm going to put a little bit down here too. There we go. Now I'm taking my Pool Party. You can go back and forth, you can pounce. No right or wrong, but you do want to pull some of that color into the previous color. A little bit of rich raspberry. And I'm just going to pull a little bit down below as well, blend it all in. You can't go wrong with this, it's going to look great. And I'm going to end with my Blueberry Bushel. And there's my sky, my sunset, and I've got the ocean. So now all that's left is coloring the house, and that actually does not take very long to do. I'm going to start with my smoky slate. So I'm just using my aqua painter, picking up some of that color, and I'm just going to do the house. I'm not worrying too much about staying in the lines, and I'm going to do the rock down here, and I'm going to go past it a little bit. And I'm gonna add a little bit of gray right on top of the words as well. And now I'm just going back in, pouncing a little bit more of that gray just to add a little bit of that darker color. Now I'm taking my cherry cobbler. We're gonna have a red tin roof. And a little bit on the house over here. And I'm going to go around the doors and the windows as well. And again, going back in with some more red just to make it darker here and there. Sahara sand. That's for this bit right here. Okay, Old Olive, and I'm going over all the foliage with the Old Olive. Now I'm going in with my Garden Green. I'm just kind of dabbing willy-nilly. So now I'm taking my So Saffron and I'm going to add some lights to those windows. You want to make sure you have no more color on your aqua painter before you go in with that light color. So now it looks like somebody's home. Taking the Night of Navy for the door. And I'm just going to go back in with a little bit more smoky slate. So there it is, all colored. I think it turned out really, really pretty. So now it's just a matter of assembling onto the card pieces. Okay, so I've put some Snell behind this piece, and now I'm going to line it up with this image. And it's easy to do, especially if you're lining it up with the walkway. Okay, this piece goes on the cherry cobbler. This piece goes on the Knight of Navy. And then I'm taking dimensionals, one in each corner and one in the center. And if you ever can't get the dimensional pieces to lift off, just push in the center and it will lift off one of those edges, and then they're really easy to peel off. And then that gets put onto the smoky slate card base. I've got my paper cut at 4 by 5 1/4. That goes inside, and then I will stamp my message. And of course you can decorate and stamp the inside of your cards too if you like. And in this bottle I have champagne shimmer mist that I have mixed with rubbing alcohol. So I'm just going to give this a spritz. And then it adds a beautiful sparkly, can you see that? Oh my goodness, so pretty. So there you go. 2 cards using the By the Bay stamp set. It's a gorgeous stamp set. Don't overlook it in your celebration catalogs. And when you're doing your sunset, as you can see, totally different look. But those are the basic colors that I like to use, and you really can't go wrong. So have fun with that card. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Happy stamping!